She said I'm free tonight on the phone, and her boss wasn't ready for the truth. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us return to the main character. It is nearly 9 in the evening when the office finally grows quiet. The last elevator doors slide shut. The lights above the cubicles dim to a soft glow. Outside the tall glass windows, the city stretches in long lines of headlights and neon signs, humming like it never plans to sleep. Ethan Carter remains in his corner office, standing still with his jacket draped over one arm. He is a man who owns buildings like this one, who signs contracts worth millions of dollars before breakfast, who is known in boardrooms as calm, controlled, and impossible to shake. Tonight, something small and ordinary breaks through that control. A voice carries from the hallway. It is her voice, soft, polite, careful, the way it always is. "I am free tonight," she says into her phone. There is a pause, then quieter, warmer. "Yes, I will see you." Ethan does not mean to listen. He is reaching for his coat. He is thinking about an early meeting the next morning, but his hand stops mid-air. His fingers tighten slowly around the fabric. Free tonight. He steps closer to the door without realizing it. The hallway light spills into his office, cutting across the polished desk and the framed awards on the wall. He hears her footsteps, light and quick, moving away. He hears nothing else. For a moment, Ethan Carter forgets how to breathe. All day, she had stayed late without complaint. All week, she had covered extra shifts, handled impossible clients, solved problems before they reached his desk. She had smiled at him the same way she always does, respectful, distant, professional. And now, with one sentence, the picture in his mind fractures. Free tonight. I will see you. His jaw tightens. A sharp, unfamiliar heat rises in his chest. It is not anger. It is not exactly jealousy either, but it feels close enough to be dangerous. He tells himself he has no right to feel anything at all. He is her boss, that is all. Still, his pulse does not slow. Down the hallway, she stops near the elevators. She does not notice him watching from the shadowed doorway. She slips her phone into her bag, exhales, and presses the call button. The numbers light up. The doors begin to close. Ethan steps forward without thinking. "Wait," he says. She turns, startled. Her eyes widen just a little before she schools her expression back into calm. "Yes, Mr. Carter." Her tone is steady, professional. Nothing in it suggests secrets or guilt. That somehow makes it worse. "Working late again?" he asks. His voice sounds normal to his own ears, but his shoulders feel tight, his spine rigid. "Yes," she replies. "I finished the reports you needed for tomorrow. They are on your desk." He nods, even though he already knows that. He always knows when she finishes something. She is precise that way, reliable, invisible until suddenly she is not. "And now?" he asks before he can stop himself. A flicker of surprise crosses her face. Then she smiles, small and polite. "Now I am heading out. Free tonight." The elevator dings softly behind her. The doors open. "Have a good evening," she says. "You too," Ethan replies, too late. The doors slide shut between them. The elevator descends. The hallway falls silent again. Ethan stands alone, staring at his reflection in the glass wall. He does not recognize the man looking back at him. This man looks unsettled. This man looks like he has just realized something he was never supposed to feel. He straightens his jacket and exhales slowly. If she thinks tonight belongs to someone else, then he will do what he has always done best. He will watch, he will test, and he will learn the truth. The elevator doors close, and the building exhales into silence. She steps out onto the sidewalk a few minutes later, the cool night air brushing against her face. The city smells faintly of rain and hot asphalt. Traffic moves in steady lines, headlights streaking past like nothing in the world ever really stops. She pulls her coat tighter, not because it is cold, but because she is tired. Her name is Lily Morgan. She does not look like someone who works for one of the most powerful men in the city. No sharp heels, No designer bag, just sensible flats, a worn leather purse, and shoulders that carry more weight than they should. Her phone vibrates in her hand. "I am on my way," she says softly, careful to keep her voice calm. "Yes, I know. I will be there soon." She ends the call before the other person can say anything else. For a moment, she stands still, staring at the dark glass of the building behind her. Somewhere on the upper floors, lights are still on. Somewhere up there, Ethan Carter is probably still working. She pushes the thought away. Lily walks 3 blocks to the bus stop. She checks the schedule taped to the metal pole. 12 minutes. She exhales slowly and sits down on the cold bench. Around her, the city moves on without noticing her at all. No one at the office knows what her nights look like after she clocks out. No one knows that her day does not end when the reports are finished or the emails are sent. No one knows that every dollar she earns is already spoken for before it ever reaches her account. Her phone lights up again, this time with a reminder she set herself weeks ago. Rent due in 5 days. She closes her eyes for a second. Lily has worked for Ethan Carter for nearly a year. She was hired quietly, without fanfare. An assistant position that promised stability, health insurance, and a paycheck that arrived on time. For someone like her, that was not a luxury. That was survival. Her mother had gotten sick 2 years ago. Nothing dramatic at first, just fatigue, missed shifts, a cough that would not go away. By the time the doctors took it seriously, the bills had already begun to pile up. Lily learned very quickly what it meant to choose between groceries and prescriptions. She learned how to stretch a tank of gas for an extra week, how to smile at work even when her mind was somewhere else, how to say, "I am fine," and mean, "I cannot afford to fall apart." The bus pulls up with a low hiss of air brakes. Lily climbs on, swipes her card, and takes a seat near the back. The lights inside flicker softly as the bus rolls forward. She rests her head against the window and watches the city slide by. Tomorrow, she will be back at the office before anyone else arrives. She will make coffee. She will organize schedules. She will catch mistakes before they turn into problems. She will do her job well, the way she always does. Because losing this job is not an option. Her phone buzzes one more time. This time, she answers. "I told you I would come," she says, her voice gentle but firm. "I just need a little more time." She listens, nodding even though no one can see her. Her fingers tighten around the phone. "Yes, tonight," she repeats. "I am free tonight." She ends the call and stares down at her hands. At the office, that sentence sounded dangerous, personal, suggestive. In her life, it means something very different. It means responsibility. It means sacrifice. It means doing what needs to be done, even when no one is watching. The bus turns onto a quieter street. Fewer lights, smaller buildings. Lily straightens in her seat as her stop approaches. She stands, steps off the bus, and walks toward a modest apartment building with peeling paint and a flickering porch light. As she reaches the door, she pauses, drawing in a steady breath. Up in his glass tower, Ethan Carter believes he heard the beginning of a story that threatens his control. Down here, Lily Morgan is simply trying to hold her life together, and neither of them is ready for how those two truths are about to collide. The next morning begins the same way it always does. Ethan Carter arrives before sunrise. The city is still half asleep when his car pulls into the underground garage. The lobby lights glow softly, reflecting off marble floors that cost more than most houses. He rides the elevator alone, reviewing numbers on his tablet, his expression calm, controlled, unreadable. But his mind is not on profits, it is on a sentence. "I am free tonight." By the time he reaches his office, Lily Morgan is already there. She stands at the copy machine, neatly stacking papers, her hair pulled back, sleeves rolled just enough to be practical. A cup of coffee sits on his desk, black, exactly the way he takes it. The morning briefing is printed, highlighted, and aligned with quiet precision. "Good morning, Mr. Carter," she says when she notices him. Her tone is professional, polite, the same as always. There is no trace of last night in her voice. "Good morning," he replies. For a moment, he simply watches her. The way she moves efficiently, without wasted effort. The way she checks the schedule, then adjusts it without being asked. The way she carries herself like someone who cannot afford mistakes. This is what unsettles him. If she were careless, flirtatious, distracted, the answer would be easy. He could dismiss the tension as nothing more than annoyance. But Lily Morgan is none of those things. She hands him a folder. "I moved your afternoon call forward by 30 minutes. The client confirmed." He nods. "Thank you." Their fingers almost touch. She pulls back first. As she returns to her desk, Ethan sits down slowly, his gaze lingering on the worn leather purse tucked beside her chair. It is old, scuffed at the corners, not something someone carries for appearances. His eyes drift lower. There is a small white envelope peeking out of the side pocket. It is thin, creased, handwritten. Something about it feels out of place. Throughout the morning, Ethan notices more than he ever has before. He notices Lily skipping the catered breakfast and eating a granola bar from her bag. He notices her checking her phone during breaks, her expression tightening each time. He notices that when a junior assistant makes a mistake, Lily steps in quietly, taking the blame without drawing attention. At noon, he watches her stand at the window for a long moment, staring down at the street below, as if calculating something no one else can see. By early afternoon, the sentence has changed in his mind. Free tonight, not careless, not indulgent, intentional. At 3:15, he makes a decision. "Lily," he says from his office doorway. She looks up immediately. "Yes, Mr. Carter. I need you to stay late this evening," he says evenly. "There is a last-minute review for the Westbridge account." There it is, the test. She hesitates, just for a fraction of a second. He almost misses it. "I can," she says. "How late?" 8, possibly later. She glances at her phone. Her thumb hovers over the screen. Then she nods. "All right, I will adjust my schedule." No argument, no excuse. Ethan feels something shift inside his chest. Relief, perhaps, or disappointment. He is not sure which would have been easier. The afternoon stretches on. The office hums with quiet productivity. As people leave one by one, Lily remains at her desk, typing, printing, organizing. When 7:30 arrives, she stands, pulls on her coat, then pauses. She walks into his office. "I finished the review," she says. "I left notes on the sections that may raise questions." He looks up. "You can go," he says. She studies his face for a moment, as if weighing something. Then she nods. "Thank you." As she turns to leave, the envelope slips from her bag and lands softly on the floor between them. She freezes. Ethan bends down before she can stop him. He picks it up. The handwriting is careful, slightly uneven. Hospital billing statement. Lily reaches for it, her face pale. "I am sorry. That is personal." He hands it back without comment. Their eyes meet for the briefest moment. In that silence, Ethan understands one thing clearly. Whatever free tonight means, it is not what he first imagined. And for the first time, the truth feels far more dangerous than the misunderstanding. That evening, the office feels different. The lights are dimmer, the hum of conversation is gone. Only the soft clicking of keyboards and the distant sound of traffic remain. Ethan Carter stands at the window of his office, watching the city darken below, his reflection faintly visible in the glass. He should let it go. He should tell himself that what he overheard last night was none of his business, that Lily Morgan's life outside these walls does not concern him. That control, the thing he has built his empire on, should not slip because of one unanswered question. But he does not let it go. Instead, he watches. At her desk, Lily works quietly. Her posture is straight, her focus unbroken. The Westbridge files are spread neatly in front of her. She highlights, cross-checks, types notes into the system. Every movement is deliberate. At 7:45, she checks the time. Ethan notices. She reaches for her phone, hesitates, then sets it face down without unlocking the screen. She exhales slowly and returns to her work. That hesitation does something to him. At 8:10, Ethan steps out of his office. "Lily," he says. She looks up immediately. "Yes, Mr. Carter?" "There is one more thing," he says, keeping his voice neutral. "The summary for the board. I need it revised tonight." Her eyes flick to the clock again. 8:12. "All right," she says after a brief pause. "I will take care of it." No complaint, no protest. Ethan nods and turns back to his office, his jaw tight. This was supposed to be simple. a test of priorities, a confirmation of what he thinks he knows. Instead, it leaves him unsettled. Minutes stretch into an hour. The city outside grows quieter. Inside, Lily continues working, her fingers moving steadily across the keyboard. When the printer jams, she fixes it herself. When a formula does not balance, she recalculates without frustration. At 9:15, she finally stands. She gathers the files, straightens her desk, and walks into his office once more. "I finished the revisions," she says, placing the folder on his desk. "I also added a note about the potential risk you mentioned earlier." Ethan looks at her, really looks at her. Her face is pale with exhaustion. There is a faint tension in her shoulders, as if she is bracing for something. Still, her voice does not waver. "You can leave," he says. She hesitates, just for a moment. Then she nods. "Thank you." As she turns, he speaks again. "Lily." She stops. "Yes?" He considers asking her directly, who she is meeting, why tonight matters, what that envelope means. The questions sit heavy on his tongue. Instead, he says, "You have been working a lot of late hours." She offers a small, careful smile. "It is temporary." "It's temporary," he repeats. "Yes," she says, "everything is." She leaves before he can respond. Down in the lobby, Lily steps out into the cool night air, her heart beating faster than she would like to admit. She pulls out her phone and dials. "I am sorry I am late," she says quietly. "I am on my way now." On the other end, someone sighs in relief. At the same time, high above the street, Ethan Carter sits alone at his desk, staring at the untouched folder in front of him. He had expected resistance, an excuse, a choice that would confirm his worst assumptions. Instead, Lily Morgan stayed, not because she wanted to, because she felt she had to. The realization settles heavily in his chest. This is no longer about jealousy. It is about power, control, and the uncomfortable truth that he is using both to test someone who may already be carrying more than she should. And still, despite knowing this, Ethan does not stop. Because the truth, whatever it is, feels closer now, and he is not yet ready to face what it might reveal. The following afternoon, the office hums with tension. A junior analyst stands frozen near the conference room, eyes wide, papers trembling in her hands. Her voice shakes as she speaks to the department manager, trying to explain a mistake in a client report. The numbers do not match. A decimal was placed wrong. The error is small, but the client is not. People begin to gather. Whispers ripple through the open floor. "This could cost us the account," someone murmurs. The manager's face hardens. "Who prepared this?" The young analyst swallows. "I did," she says. "I am sorry. I did not mean to." "That is not good enough," he snaps. "Do you understand what this mistake represents?" Lily Morgan looks up from her desk. She has seen this moment before. She knows that look. The fear of losing a job you cannot afford to lose. The way the room seems to close in when you realize one wrong step might undo everything you have built. She stands. "I reviewed that report," Lily says calmly, stepping forward. Every head turns toward her. "The formatting error was not caught during final review. That responsibility is mine." The analyst stares at her in shock. "Lily, no. It was me. I signed off on it," Lily repeats, her voice steady. "If there is an issue, I will correct it immediately." The manager frowns. "You are sure?" "Yes," Lily says. "Give me 10 minutes." Without waiting for permission, she takes the papers, returns to her desk, and begins correcting the figures. Her fingers move quickly, confidently. She recalculates, cross-checks, prints a revised copy, and walks it back into the conference room herself. "There," she says, placing it on the table. "The correct version." The manager scans the page, then exhales. "All right, see that this does not happen again." As the room clears, the analyst rushes toward Lily, eyes bright with tears. "You did not have to do that," she whispers. "You could have let me take the blame." Lily offers a small smile. "We all make mistakes," she says. "Just do not stop believing you belong here." Across the office, Ethan Carter watches everything. He does not interrupt. He does not step in. He stays where he is, unseen, observing the way Lily takes responsibility without hesitation, the way she absorbs the risk without expectation of reward. This is not ambition. This is kindness with a cost. Later that evening, Lily gathers her things and prepares to leave. The day has drained her. The mistake, the hours, the quiet weight she carries everywhere. At the elevator, she notices a man standing near the security desk. An older janitor, shoulders hunched, struggling with a cart that is caught on the edge of the carpet. People walk past him without slowing down. Lily stops. "Here," she says gently, stepping forward. She kneels, lifts the edge of the carpet and frees the wheel. "That should help." The man smiles, relief washing over his face. "Thank you. Most people do not notice." She nods. Someone always notices. They just forget to stop. She hands him a small bottle of water from her bag. "You should drink this." Up on the mezzanine, Ethan sees that too. He watches her walk into the elevator, unaware of the eyes on her. Unaware that each quiet act is dismantling the assumptions he started with. By the time Ethan returns to his office, something has shifted. Lily Morgan is not staying late to impress anyone. She is not choosing work over life for personal gain. She is choosing responsibility over ease. And for the first time, Ethan Carter feels the test turning back on him. Because the more he watches her give, the more he realizes the cost may not be hers alone. And soon, he will have to decide whether he is willing to pay it too. That night, Ethan Carter does not leave the office until long after the city has gone quiet. The lights on his floor remain on, a lone rectangle of brightness in a darkened tower. He sits at his desk, jacket draped over the chair, tie loosened, staring at nothing in particular. The folder Lily prepared lies unopened in front of him. For the first time in years, numbers refuse to hold his attention. Instead, his mind replays moments he did not think mattered. Lily stepping forward to take responsibility for someone else's mistake. Lily kneeling on the carpet to help a man no one else stopped for. Lily staying late, again and again, without complaint. And always, that sentence, "I am free tonight." Ethan closes his eyes briefly and exhales. He tells himself he is being irrational, that curiosity is not entitlement, that concern is not control. He tells himself he is allowed to notice patterns without assigning meaning to them. But the tension does not fade. The next morning, Lily arrives a few minutes later than usual. Not late, just later. Ethan notices immediately. She looks more tired than before. There is a faint shadow beneath her eyes, a stiffness in her shoulders that was not there yesterday. She places his coffee on the desk with the same careful precision, but her hand lingers on the edge of the cup as if grounding herself. "Good morning," she says. "Good morning," he replies. He almost asks if she is all right. The question forms, uninvited, sharp, and personal. He does not ask. Throughout the day, he assigns her tasks that require proximity. A briefing in his office, a last-minute call that needs notes taken, a document that could easily be handled by someone else. Each time, Lily complies without hesitation. But something is different. She is quieter, more contained, as if she is holding something back. At lunchtime, Ethan notices she does not leave the building. She eats at her desk, scrolling through her phone, her brow furrowed. When it rings, she answers quickly and steps into the stairwell. The door does not close all the way. "I cannot stay long," she says softly. "I will come by later, I promise." There is a pause, her shoulders tense. "I know," she continues. "I am trying." The door clicks shut. Ethan looks away, his chest tight. By late afternoon, the tension has settled into something heavier. Not suspicion, not anger, something closer to fear. The kind that comes from realizing a story you built in your head is incomplete. At 4:30, he makes another decision. "Lily," he says as she passes his office. She stops. "Yes, Mr. Carter?" "I need you to attend the client dinner tonight," he says. They requested additional support. Her eyes widen slightly. "Tonight?" "Yes," he replies. "It is important." There it is again, the choice. She hesitates longer this time. Long enough that he almost tells her to forget it. Long enough that he feels the weight of what he is asking. Then she nods. "All right, I will make it work." Work it out. The phrase echoes unpleasantly in his mind. That evening, as the office empties, Lily changes in the restroom, smoothing her blouse, checking her reflection. She looks presentable, professional, but there is tension in her jaw, a quiet urgency in her movements. Ethan watches her from a distance as they walk toward the elevator. He feels something unfamiliar rise in him. Not triumph, not relief, guilt. Whatever he is doing, whatever test he believes he is running, it is no longer clean. It is no longer neutral. He is pulling on a thread that is clearly attached to something fragile. And yet, as the elevator doors slide shut and the city rises to meet them, Ethan knows one thing with unsettling clarity. He cannot stop now. Because the truth is closer than ever, and the closer it gets, the more he suspects it may not absolve him at all. The restaurant is quiet in the way expensive places always are. Soft music hums beneath low conversation. Candles flicker against white tablecloths. Outside, traffic passes in distant waves, separated from the room by thick glass and wealth. Lily sits across from the clients, her posture straight, hands folded neatly in her lap when she is not taking notes. She answers questions calmly, clarifies details, smooths over small points of tension before they can grow. She does everything right. Ethan Carter watches her from the end of the table, aware of every movement. The way she listens more than she speaks. The way she steps in gently when a discussion begins to sharpen. The way she keeps the meeting professional, even as the evening stretches later than promised. By the time dessert is served, the deal is secure. The clients stand, smiling, shaking hands. Compliments are exchanged. Ethan accepts them with practiced ease. Lily gathers her materials quietly, already thinking about what comes next. When the clients finally leave, the room feels larger, emptier. Ethan signals the server for the check, then looks at Lily. "Walk with me," he says. She hesitates, then nods. They step outside into the cool night air. The street is calmer here, lit by warm lamps and reflections in polished windows. Lily glances at her phone as they walk. No new messages. She exhales, slow and controlled. "You handled that well," Ethan says. "Thank you," she replies. "I am glad it went smoothly." They stop beneath a streetlight. For a moment, neither of them speaks. "Lily," Ethan says finally. She looks up. "Yes?" His voice is steady, but there is an edge beneath it now. "You have been rearranging your life for this job." Her expression tightens. "I do my work." "That is not what I asked," he says. Silence stretches between them. "You stay late," he continues. "You cancel plans. You take responsibility that does not belong to you. And every time I think I understand why, something does not add up." Her shoulders square. "With respect, Mr. Carter, my personal schedule is not part of my job description." "There it is," he says quietly. "So there is something you are protecting." Her eyes flash. Everyone is protecting something. Ethan steps closer, then stops himself. "Who were you meeting that night?" he asks. "The night you said you were free." The words hang heavy in the air. Lily's face hardens. Not with fear, with resolve. "That is not your question to ask," she says, "and you know it." "You let me believe," he begins. "I did not let you believe anything," she cuts in, her voice low but firm. "You assumed." Ethan opens his mouth, then closes it again. For the first time since this began, he sees the line he has crossed. "I am your employee," Lily continues, "not your possession, not your responsibility to manage outside these walls." Her hand tightens around her purse strap. "I agreed to tonight because it was work, not because I owed you an explanation." The words land hard. Ethan feels it then, the imbalance, the power he has been leaning on without naming it, the test he thought he was running, exposed for what it is. "You are right," he says finally. Lily studies him, guarded. "Am I?" "Yes," he admits, "and I should not have pushed." She nods once. "Then I should go." She steps back, creating distance where tension once stood. As she turns to leave, Ethan watches her walk away down the softly lit street, phone already in her hand, her pace quickening. For the first time, the risk becomes real. Not losing control, losing her trust. And as Ethan Carter stands alone beneath the streetlight, he realizes the truth he has been chasing may arrive with a price he is no longer sure he can afford. The truth comes quietly, not in the office, not in front of witnesses, but in the place Lily Morgan never wanted Ethan Carter to see. 2 days pass after the confrontation outside the restaurant. 2 days where Lily keeps her distance, completing her work with precision but no warmth. 2 days where Ethan does not call her into his office, does not assign late meetings, does not test her again. On the third evening, Lily does not return home after work. Instead, she walks 3 blocks past her apartment building and turns into a narrow side street lined with old brick and flickering lights. The building at the end is small, its sign half lit. Westbridge Community Clinic. Ethan Carter sits in his car across the street, engine off, hands resting on the steering wheel. He tells himself he is only here to understand, not to interfere, not to control. He saw the name on the billing statement days ago. He did not look it up then. He looks it up now. Inside, Lily moves with familiarity. She greets the nurse at the front desk by name. She signs a clipboard without being asked. She disappears down the hallway like someone who has memorized this place by heart. Ethan waits. 20 minutes later, he sees her again through a narrow window. She sits beside a hospital bed, her coat folded neatly on the chair. An older woman lies still beneath thin blankets, oxygen tubing resting against her cheek. Lily reaches out and takes the woman's hand. "I am here," she says softly. "I told you I would come." The woman stirs, her fingers tightening weakly around Lily's. Lily smiles, brushing hair back from the woman's forehead with practiced care. Ethan feels the air leave his chest. This is what free tonight means. Not escape, not romance, responsibility. Later, Lily steps outside into the cool air, pulling her coat around her shoulders. She stops when she sees him. For a moment, neither of them speaks. "You followed me," she says finally, not accusing, just tired. "Yes," Ethan replies. "I am sorry." She studies his face, weighing the sincerity in his eyes. "That night," he continues, "you were not meeting someone. You were coming here." "Yes," she says. "My love," he says quietly. "You were talking to her." Lily nods. "She is my mother." The words settle between them, heavy and simple. "She has been sick for a long time," Lily continues. "She does not like hospitals. She gets scared at night, so I come when I can. After work, after everything else." Ethan looks back at the clinic doors, at the place Lily has been choosing over rest, over ease, over herself. "I should not have assumed," he says, "and I should not have tested you." "No," Lily agrees, "you should not have." Silence stretches again, but it is different now, less sharp. "I stayed late because I needed the job," she says. "I said yes because I had no room to say no, not because I owed you." "I know," Ethan says, "and I regret putting you in that position." He does not offer money. He does not offer solutions. Instead, he says, "I am listening now." Lily exhales, a breath she has been holding for weeks. For the first time, the truth stands between them fully formed, and it does not break her, it exposes him. The change does not happen overnight. It begins quietly. The next morning, Lily arrives at the office to find her schedule cleared. No late meetings, no last-minute demands, no silent tests disguised as necessity. Instead, there is a note on her desk. "Please take the afternoon off. No explanation required. Ethan." She reads it twice, unsure what to feel. At noon, Ethan calls a meeting, not with her, with the department heads. He speaks plainly, about workload, about boundaries, about responsibility flowing upward, not downward. He corrects policies that reward silence and punish endurance. He makes it clear that staying late will no longer be treated as loyalty, and that no one's personal life is currency for professional approval. People listen. Lily hears about it later, from the same junior analyst she once protected. The girl looks relieved, hopeful. That evening, Ethan walks into the Westbridge Community Clinic, carrying nothing but himself. No press, no announcement, no donation check. He speaks with the director privately, asks questions, listens. He learns what the clinic lacks, what it needs, what systems fail people like Lily and her mother every day. He does not fix it all. He starts with what he can change. Over the following weeks, Lily notices the difference. Her workload becomes reasonable. Her voice is heard without cost. When she leaves on time, no one looks twice. One night, Ethan waits outside the clinic again. This time, he does not follow. He stands where she can see him. "I wanted to apologize," he says when she steps out. "Not as your boss, as a person." She studies him carefully. "I used my position to satisfy my uncertainty," he continues. That was wrong. I am not asking for forgiveness. I am telling you it will not happen again. Lily nods slowly. Thank you for saying that. He hesitates. I also wanted you to know your job is safe, always was. But now, so is your time. She lets out a quiet breath. Something unknots in her chest. Weeks later, her mother's condition stabilizes. Not because of money, because Lily is present. Because she is no longer stretched thin between fear and obligation. On a quiet afternoon, Lily and Ethan sit on a bench outside the clinic, coffee cooling between them. You never asked for anything, Lily says. I know, Ethan replies. That is why I learned. She looks at him then, really looks at him. Not as a boss, not as power. As a man who made a mistake and chose to be better. I am not free tonight, she says gently. He smiles. Neither am I. They sit in silence, comfortable now. What began as a test ends as a choice. Not forced, not purchased, earned. And for the first time, the truth does not divide them. It brings them to the same side.